G'day, Straya. How are you going? How you going? Hope you're right. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's hump day, isn't it? Are you excited? It's a Wednesday. It's February 12th. That's pretty good. Have you gotten Valentine's Day sorted? There's your reminder from your friendly pal, Jim. Get it sorted. Anyway, I'm your host, James Clement. You can see me on the AFL Today show. You can see me on NFL Australia. We will do a Super Bowl wrap show at some point once we find Gaz. We don't know where he is. Anyway, I'm here in the fancy studios. We have a weird day today. It's hump day. We only had 4 games, so I don't know. We can sort of punch through this one quickly. I'm losing my voice anyway, so it's probably just as well. I don't have to talk for an hour like I did yesterday when I said I was going to do a short one. Jesus. Kevin Durant, 30,000 points. That's awesome. The Mavs fans are still spiraling, and it's just getting out of control. It's nuts. We've got an all-time bloodbath in Chicago today. The Sixers might be cooked. Plenty going. Brandon Ingram got a massive new contract extension. Plenty to talk about, but we can punch through it, I reckon, today. We've got the game rats. We've got That's Not a Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud on the Night, Better than Lonzo Ball. We've got some Yanaz, the Unpopular Opinion of the Day. OUTBACK Takehouse. As well as, I think there's a great moment in NBA Australia stat history back when Ben Simmons was good. It's a fun one, trust me. And I believe in Andrew Gay's Great MAMBA Award, because why wouldn't we? And then there's a pick and preview for all 15 games, which is in like all the teams are playing tomorrow before the All-Star game on the weekend. Remember how that's coming up? And it's going to be a shit show. Anyway, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about very quickly. So let's go. We'll do episode 1205 of NBA Australia. So let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Mick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Australia.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Well, you better. I don't know. Why would you be watching that Inside the NBA on TNT, like Tuesday panel show? It's like Vince Carter trying to give analysis and like Shaq burping and eating ball. And she's like, all right, this is just a bit tough. Anyway, let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Show with a daily. It's a whip around. Well, I wouldn't have a whip around, Jim. Well, there's plenty of news to do, so let's do it. Kevin Durant just joined the 30,000 point club. Very cool. Came in a loss. Also enjoyed the fact, I think, his first NBA points came at the free throw line, and his 30,000th point came at the free throw line. As I tweeted out, though, it should have been for Seattle still. Like, they drafted him. A year later, they get hijacked by those absolute flogs who own OKC. Absolute all-time, the worst. And now they're in OKC and the world's shittiest media market. Why are our guys famous? Because you're in fucking Oklahoma City, you idiots. Anyway, that's pretty good for Kevin Durant. 30,000, like 8 people have ever done it. LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone Show, Kobe, MJ, Dirk, and Wilt. So KD's chasing Wilt. He's up next. 31,419. That's the amount of chicks he nailed, he reckoned. So about points is probably around the same. So there you go. Incredibly enough, MJ, and this is why I love MJ, he had 32,292 points in 1,072 games, which is just sick. KD took 1101 to get to 30K. Wilt was just insane. He had 1,045, but still. There you go. Good stuff. Hey, can you tell I'm just washed today? Zero motivation. Just all out of sorts. Just, your mate Jim is just going through it. It just sucks. I'm just like, hang on. This is brutal. Shit day, shit week, shit time. Had a great time at the Super Bowl party, and then you just get shit on. You're like, oh, everybody go get fucked then. How good's that? Had a good time. I hope you were watching it. It was very fun. You can see me and Gaz have heaps of fun. You know, it was good. Had fun at the NBL Awards. Really good times. But yeah, just never good enough, is it? Brandon Spindles Ingram signed an extension. How good's that? 3 years, $120 million for old Spindles up there in Toronto. Are they in the Canadian dollars? What do you reckon? Dollary dues? I don't know. I'm going to talk about this again later in but pretty interesting. Alex Len. So if you're on the internet today, Alex Len might be the second coming of Wilt because the Lakers signed him and everyone's losing their fucking minds. Like, got their man. It's like, it's the Ukrainian stepladder, Alex Len. I don't think that's changing your fortunes that much, but I guess he is big. And it did also mean they had to waive what Scott Morrison has, Christian Wood. What Scott Morrison had for, Cole being a weirdo and having every ministry under his own name. Fucking weird. Christian Wood. Anyway, Mavs, as I mentioned at the top. So Anthony Davis, out for at least 2 weeks. Probably more. Probably a month. With that adductor strain. They also find out that now Dan Gafford is out for at least 2 weeks. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks after a knee knock yesterday. So they've got no AD, no Dan Gafford, no Lively, no Powell. You're like, geez, maybe they should have traded for a big man at the trade deadline. Oh, they did. He's already injured. Jeez, who could have seen that coming? Outside of that, good to see Patrick Dumont, the owner of the Mavs, get booed on his way to his seats yesterday. That was pretty funny. And he's like, is it for me? It's like, yes, you fucking idiot. You traded a franchise icon. Every fan is fucking pissed at you. You're a fucking dipshit. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting booed. Yeah, you dummy. Anyway. And then finally, the last little bit. Love Kevin Love. He is absolutely on a social media heater at this point. LeBron had a message to Luka. Don't fit in, fit out. And Kevin Love is like, well, yeah, LeBron was basically like, be your fucking self. Don't fit in, fit the fuck out. And Kevin Love's like, punch in the air right now. Just my thoughts. 10 years later, still a hater. Hashtag hurt my feelings. Because you might remember the Kevin Love don't fit out, fit in from LeBron. And yeah, that wasn't exactly what was going on when it comes to Luka. So tough one for Kevin Love. Right, let's do some game raps. Game raps. Hey, Toronto Philly was pretty funny. The Toronto Raptors of Toronto Canada, 106. The Philadelphia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 103. Whoa. Geez, the Sixers must have been without all their good players, Jim. Nope. They all played. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George. And they still lost, eh? Bit of a rough one. Seriously, Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George losing to a Raptors team that's starting Jonathan Mogbo and Okja Agbaji. Like, no RJ Barrett, no Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl. They lose to Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and Grady Dick. What a world. Embiid went 4 of 13 in the second half and cooked it right at the end, down 2. Had a wide open 3, decided to dribble into traffic, turn the ball over, and lose the game. Great job, Joel. Grady Dick hit the free throw. Boom, off they go. So they ended up shooting 40% from the floor, the Sixers. It was pretty horrible. And it was only just like they probably got by today and sort of skated a little bit more under the radar because the Bulls got just so righteously shit pumped by the Pistons that it's fucking hilarious, right? So here we are going, hey, there's Detroit kicking the fuck out of Chicago just as the Sixers are getting their heads kicked in at the end by fucking Toronto. Amazing. Embiid ends up with 27, 12, and 4, but as I mentioned, 4 of 13 in the second half. What a surprise twist. 2 of 6 in the fourth quarter. Brutal. Paul George goes for 14, 3, and 2. Better pay him all that money. Maxey was 1 of 9. Looks like he might be carrying some sort of injury. He had 5 points in 34 minutes. It was just the season from hell, man. The Raps got 33, 10, and 3 from Scotty Barnes. He was awesome. IQ had 23 and 5. Grady Dick chucked in 17. They were very, very handy. Bobby Boucher went 0 of 6, but still. Toronto now moved to 17 and 37, just behind the Sixers, who are 20 and 33. The Knicks and the Pacers in the Reggie Miller Bowl, the Spike Lee Reggie Miller Bowl. Knicks were okay in this one. Ends up a bit of a whooping, 128-115. They got up, took control in the second quarter, did the Knicks. Sort of was like watching this one and just going, The Pacers just, they sort of threatened. They got back into it in the third quarter. They're only down 4 or whatever. Got back into it again in the fourth quarter. But without OG Anunoby, the Knicks were just like, well, we'll just go to Cat. And we'll just go to like, Josh Hart is playing like the game of his fucking life. Like, so Jalen Brunson didn't have to do too much. He went 4 of 11 or whatever. And the Pacers without Miles Turner, and that was the key one yesterday, right? I think I said in the picks, if they have Miles Turner, I'll go the Pacers. If they don't, we're going the Knicks. So the Knicks go bang, and here we are. They shot 53%. The Pacers, look, Miles Turner just gives their offense just that extra, I don't know, inside-out variability. And without him, it all just goes to shit. Especially when Halliburton can't do too much. He had 16, 5, and 8 with 4 turnovers. Siakam at 24, 5, and 2. 24, 5, and 1 and 2. There you go. And, like, they were fine, but they just didn't have the, like, Benny Mathurin couldn't get one over properly, it felt like today. It was just like a bit of a mess. And the entire game for the Pacers was just like a bit of a mess. And you're like, this is why like the Pacers go on a bit of a heater like recently, and then they lose Miles Turner to the concussion, and it all just went a bit shit house. Thomas, not Kobe Bryant, still at 18, 9, and 4, but it's just, he never feels that impactful, you know what I'm saying? For the Knicks, they shot 53%, as I mentioned, versus the Pacers 9 of 31 from downtown. Just not quite good enough. Not going to keep up. Karl Anthony Towns, he was sick. 40, 12, and 5 with 3 steals. 14 of 23 from the floor. Josh Hart at 30, 10, and 5 as well. And they just looked, without OG, without Mikal Bridges like stepping up and scoring a shit ton, with Brunson having a quite, 8 and 7, 4 of 11 shooting, it didn't matter. Like, when you've got Karl Anthony Towns just to go, all right, boys, tonight I'll go massive, and Josh Hart's like, so will I. Check this out. You're feeling pretty good about yourselves. Knicks are now 35 and 18. Pacers 29 and 23. Detroit. Wow, this was a shit pumping. Absolute bloodbath there in Chicago. 132-92. That's a 40-point deficit in Chicago. And it wasn't even that close. Like, everyone sort of realized it, like, 3/4 of the way through the second quarter. It's like, hang on. This is pretty bad. It was 71-29 at the half. 71-29. They had 2 players in double figures, did the Bulls. It was brutal. 11, 6, and 4 for Gids. We'll talk about him again later in the NBA Australian Play Watch. 12 for Booz Ellis. I was saying Booz Ellis. And that was it. No one else did shit. Kobe couldn't hit a shot. Vooch couldn't hit a shot. And they all stunk. Whereas the Pistons got 26 and 7 in 27 minutes for Kay Cunningham. He was awesome. Malik Beasley, absolutely crushing it. 7 to 10 from downtown for his 24. 18 for Tobias. Allstar Thompson was awesome. Sasser goes 4 of 4 from downtown for 14 points. 14 points there. Yes. Very nice. Very good. 28-26 now, Detroit. Chicago dropped to 22 and 32, and it is basically pack 'em up time, I reckon, for that Bulls team. And then finally, Memphis, Phoenix. Memphis sort of just held them off down the stretch, 119-112. It was a weird game because Phoenix fought, got pretty close there in the fourth quarter. And then Triple J and Ja just kept them at arm's length right at the end. Some pretty good rebounding as well. And I guess that's what happens when you're starting Bol. Isn't that right, son? So, yeah, Triple J hits like a big shot. It was like 110, 106. Triple J hits another big shot, gets him back up. It's 112, 109 after Bol sinks a massive 3, and Ja just goes, all right, check this out. Triple J gets fouled a couple of times, more fouls. They force the issue, and they hold them off. A weird game, but a fun one, because you had Ja Morant versus Booker, and they, were wildly entertaining. Like, it was just a really sort of fun back and forth. Like, Zach Edey was blocking everything. He only ends up with 2 blocks, but like the amount of shit that dude just changes at the rim, like playing next to Triple J, God, it feels like a cheat code. 26, 7, and 6 for Ja versus what? The 17, 2, and 9 for Devin Booker. Yeah, Booker just had a bit of a rough one. Well, 34, 3, and 3 for KD. Not bad, but you got Nick Richards and Bol out there. And Bol ends up with 14 rebounds. Nick Richards with 4. Yeah, brutal. 18 and 14, though, for Bol. Not bloody bad, if you ask me. 17 and 6 with a couple of steals and a block for Triple J. And Desmond Bain also chucked in 20. 14 each from Brandon Clark and Santi Aldama. Good win for the Grizzlies. We picked them yesterday. No Beal for the Suns, and you're like, it does sort of feel like that might be the thing they're missing a little bit, you know? The $50 million man just sitting on the bench not playing. It's like Brad Beal. That's what he does. What do you want from him? Grizzlies now 36-17. The Suns 26-27. Bit of a rough one. Let's do an NBA Australia Pro performance of the night then.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
That is a knife, Karl Anthony Towns. That was a hell of a game. He was like, throwing sick no-look bounce passes through the Raptors, through the Pacers, and ends up with the 40, 12, and 5. Absolutely crushed it. Looked unreal. And then Ja Morant, like him going up against Booker, he's like, yeah, I'm better than you. 26, 7, and 6. He was a plus 14. He goes 8 of 19, 0 of 5 from 3, but 10 of 12 at the free throw line. It was just inexorable. I very much enjoyed that game. Good job, Ja. How about Spud of the night? Should we just, we'll just do it and then just say Chicago?
Spud.
Yeah, it was Chicago. It was just the Bulls. They started 0 of 22 from downtown. They were 1 of 23 in the first half, and the one that they hit was right at the end of the first half. It was insane. No one could hit a shot. They started 0 of 22 from downtown. Vooch finishes with what? 4 of 15, 2 of 13 for Kobe White. There's an incredible thing. I think they finished 35 of 100 from the floor, did the Bulls. Now, I might have to check my maths, but I'm pretty sure that's 35%, right? As a team. And it was even worse after it was worse in the first half. It was like 23%. It was absolutely horrible. As mentioned, they had 29 points in the half. It was an absolute shit kicking. And they're just the worst. That was so bad. This is the team who's just like, hey, yeah, we're cooked. So good job by the Bulls. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Well, that would be Joel Embiid getting booed at home. I mean, Patrick Dumont getting booed at home as well by his team's fans was pretty funny. And he's very clearly old mate, no mates. But Joel Embiid did it on the court, passing up the 3, down 2 with 8 seconds left. You're like, okay, drive if you want, tie it up. Don't just fucking go behind the back or through the legs or whatever the fuck he did in the end and just turn it over. It was so bad. And he deserved to get booed. Oof. But I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So Sixers fans it's fucking whatever. I'm still going to boo Embiid, but whatever. Pantsing of the night. This is also just going to be Chicago, isn't it? It is Chicago because they got absolutely shit kicked at home. But my other favorite pantsing of the night was Nick Richards. Desmond Bain literally passed the ball into his fucking face. Nick Richards like, hey, what's going on? Bang! Absolutely wore it. Bit of a tough one, but that is Desmond Bain. He's like, check this out. Would you like a ball in the face? Bang! Absolutely nailed him. So that was fun. And finally, better than Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Marcus Sasser, 4 of 4 from downtown. He was really good for the Pistons in an entire half of garbage time, basically, which is just pretty crazy. 4 of 4 from downtown. He ends up with 14 points. But Orsar Thompson, I mentioned that, right? He was awesome, Thompson, today. 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, and shot 7 of 8 from the floor. That's taking the piss. Like, amen, Thompson's getting all the raps down there in Houston because he's on a decent team, whereas, like, Orsar's finally sort of gotten back, and he's playing, and that's kind of nice. And he's actually crushing it, and Detroit need him, so good stuff. All right. Also want to quickly... We did Dickhead of the Week yesterday. I forgot to do Legend of the Week. Hubie Brown called his last game on the weekend, and everybody was sort of giving him his tributes and everything. It was really, really, really nice to see. Hubie Brown is older than the sun at this point, and he's coached against or broadcast against 80% of every single player who's ever played in the NBA, which is an insane stat. And, like, ages ago, you're like, Hubie Brown's commentary, it's just like, he's an old guy. This guy here, now this is a guy. And you're like, all right, good job, Hubie. And like, then you sort of get used to it and it grows on you and you're like, I love Hubie. So amazing to see him sort of finally step away from broadcasting, but do so at a time where he can, appreciate the love that everyone had for him. So good on you, Hubie. All right, let's do some yeah nahs right after. I'm going to say this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening
Australia.
to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
All right. It's time for some yeah nahs. Let's do those yeah nahs I was talking about yesterday. We also got a couple of other ones in there. Mention this at the top. Brandon Spindles Ingram. Is he worth his 3-year, $120 million extension? Yeah, nah. Well, contextually, probably-ish. But also, I don't know, maybe nah. Like, he's 27. Where is Brandon Spindles Ingram taking you is the big question, right? But also, it sort of depends on what you want from this Toronto Raptors team more than anything. Because he's 27, is Spindles. He's now getting, $40 million each of the next 3 years. It means for the next couple of years, you're carrying Scotty Barnes on, $40 to $45 million a year. Manuel Quickly, $32.5 million a year. RJ Barrett, $27, $29 million a year. And then $40 million to Spindles. And you're like, hang on. With those four and Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl for the next 2 years, we're at like $150 million already. And what are we winning? Like, I just don't know what that team is in Toronto. Like, maybe when Spindles gets out there, maybe another level of Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett gets unlocked, but at the same time, just feels wonky and kind of a bit janky, and I don't know, Masai Ujiri is smarter than everybody, don't forget, so I don't know, he'll probably figure it out. But I don't know, I just wouldn't be in the business of paying Brandon Spindles Ingram $40 million a year when he's always kind of hurt, always takes forever to come back from injuries, and is just kind of pretty good. Has moments where you're like, fuck, he's good, and then he'll get hurt again. You're like, yeah, that's the entire experience of Brandon Spindles Ingram. Woo! Anyway, Jez Oz had a couple of good ones. First one, Luka trade aside, the Lakers actually made their roster better, not worse, for the first time since they won the Mickey Mouse Cup in COVID. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah. All the other LeBron trades as the GM ended up kind of actively hurting all the shit that the Lakers were always sort of trying to do. It's like, how can we get some of LeBron's mates and get older and slower and shit up? And you're like, hang on a second, that's not good. What do we need to do to surround LeBron and AD with successful players? It's just 3 and D, yo. That's all we need. And it's like, don't know about that. Here's Russell Westbrook. You're like, oh, you guys have fucking cooked this, haven't you? So, just getting Luka. And as I said on yesterday's show, right, watching Luka's debut, you're just like, yeah, the entire thing is he's just going to make everyone's fucking job way easier and make them better, including LeBron. And it's a position that LeBron's not really been in for a million years, where his job is just that much easier, right? Not since he probably played with D-Wade, then Kyrie, where he could go, hey, I don't have to do everything right now, right? Whereas even with AD, it's just a good 1-2 punch, but it was still LeBron's show. So anyway, a bit of a weird one. That's a good call, Jez. I reckon it's the first time they've done that. The second one is the part of the Luka AD trade that we don't know about is that the Lakers have created a deputy VP spot for Nico Harrison next year to work under Rob Pelinka because he's already the Lakers bitch and they may as well pay him. Yeah, nah. This would be one of the funniest outcomes, wouldn't it? if it's like Nico Harris is like, oh, I'm going to quit the Mavs and then gets a job with the Lakers. We don't know about that, but maybe we do. That's a good one, Jez. I like this. Nico Harrison secretly as the Lakers like mole. It's unreal. Dan D wrote in a couple. Embiid giving up a wide open three to win the game, then turns it over as bad as Ben Simmons when Embiid and Doc threw him under the bus. Yeah, nah. Not quite as bad because it wasn't a playoff game. I'll pay. Oh, you know, it was pretty bad though. Like, if Joel Embiid had actually been playing basketball lately, you know, you'd probably take that three and, like, you know, you live or die by the miss. That's fine. At the same time, like, I do appreciate that he's like, I haven't shot threes well today. Fuck that. I'll drive. Don't turn the ball over. It's still not as bad as the Ben Simmons, like, giving up a wide open layup. Missing a three and turning the ball over and you lose the game in a shit, weird early Feb game against fucking Toronto. Not quite as bad as the Ben Simmons heat of a playoff series, give up a wide open layup, but still. The Lakers set a bad precedent with the rescinded trade. What's the cooling off period in the NBA? Surely Dallas should have rescinded the Davis trade again. I'm actually fascinated by this because this is a really good point. The cooling off period, like the idea of like the Mavs and the Lakers doing the trade that they did. And like we've dumped on the poor fucking Mavs fans nonstop for ages and ages and ages over the last like week. And they feel just as bad as you can probably imagine, right? And it's like the entire reason that Nico and fucking Rob Pelinka worked in secret was because, Rob Pelinka's like, I don't want fucking word of this to get out because I won't get Luka. I'll get trumped at the trade table by 1 million other teams. So Nico, please don't tell anyone or I won't give you AD. It's like, and Nico's like, okay. But also, if Dallas had probably had a little bit more time and had like the cooling off period to like go, okay, Anthony, how bad is this adductor strain? And they sort of would have put him through the physical and it's okay. And then boom, first game, he still gets injured. It is pretty interesting that you kind of like kick the tires on the player after you've sort of traded for him and go, oh, fucking, I don't know about this one. You look under the hood of Mark Williams and you're like, yeah, nah. Because it did sort of feel like the Lakers sort of did that trade and then had second thoughts. Went, I don't know, his injury history is a bit fucked. What do we give up? A 2031 and Dalton Connect? Ooh. I don't know about this. And then Rob Pelinka's gotten cold feet and just gone, fuck that. Fail his physical. To the doctors on the payroll. Yeah, maybe Dallas should have gotten wind of just how bad that trade was and gone, oh, yeah, Anthony Davis didn't pass his physical, actually. Oh, we don't want to get fucking lynched by all the Mavs fans, says Dumont and fucking Harrison. The cooling off period in the NBA, yeah, it's like usually it's just like bang, bang, cool, get the physicals. It's weird that people don't remember the Tyson Chandler trade to OKC that got kicked back because of his foot injuries. But I mean, that could have changed the fucking course of NBA history. Who knows what would happen if he ends up on OKC and stays healthy, right? Like the 11 Mavs, does that happen? Who fucking knows? Anyway, actually, yeah, what the timing on that Tyson Chandler trade was pretty interesting as well, right? Because that was 2009 at the trade deadline. And they sent him back, and here we are. They win the title in 2011. OKC make the finals in, 2012 and don't win. Pretty weird. Anyway, that's a good one, Dan. I like talking about the cooling off period in the NBA trade period. And then finally, Tim May, one of the Spin Twins. Ty Lue will use Box Hill Benny as a backup center on the Clippers. He's 2 inches taller than Drew Banks. He can focus on being a menace on defense, and they don't have to worry about floor spacing as much. Yeah, probably. Like this, like if Ty Lue's got fucking half a brain in his head, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to turn Ben Simmons into Draymond Green and just like try to unleash like small ball holy hell, right? It's probably not a bad idea because you get a bit of extra playmaking from your big man as you back up big behind Zoobs in place of Drew Banks. So fucking, yeah, have a crack. Don't mind it. Because if you look at that Clippers roster at the moment. Like the sort of other weird part about it is, yeah, their size and how there's not a giant amount of it. Like if they get stuck in a Denver series or something like that, it's like you're going into it with Zubac and Drew Eubanks. Maybe the way to get around that is actually playing Ben Simmons at center in small ball lineups. Because like even on their depth chart at the moment, it's like Drew Banks and like Nick Batum. So yeah, you're already playing fucking small ball. So there you go. It's a good one, Tim. Outback Takehouse. Well, unpopular opinion of the day first, I guess. That's what we do.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. The Joel Embiid situation is like, it's kind of a combination, yeah, no. Like Philly are just queuing the rack shit at this point, right? Like they probably should have traded Paul George. They probably should kick the tires on trading Joel Embiid, but the problem is, like, the Joel Embiid situation has gone so badly. His value is like fucking what? Like, what team is going to trade for Joel Embiid at this point and go, this is the answer to our problems? The thing is, I feel like you just get him somewhere warm and he'll be good. I reckon his big problem is like, I'm fucking in Philly. Like, I'm just not inspired to get out and do some yoga and stretch this fucking back and my knee and stuff. So, I don't know. If I'm a warm city, maybe I would. Like, Miami. They'll probably find a way to steal Embiid and turn him into a fucking force again like they did, Alonzo Mourning, Shaq, etc. Just saying. And finally, Outback Takehouse. Let's do it. It's Wednesday at Outback. You know what that means? Oh, yeah. Took the squids to daycare and whatnot this morning and bang. We found a flattened possum on the ground doing a bit of work down the street. So, boom. Must have fallen out of the tree or something, got hit by a car, who knows? But it was bloody flat, bloody tasty. It goes great in a sandwich. So we've got flattened possum sandwiches only at Outback. Just roast him up, boom, away you go. And today's flame grilled take is the Lakers trade was rescinded because they decided the Mavs were getting too embarrassed with LA using the leftovers of the trade to go get Mark Williams. Only at Outback. This is like the Mavs going, hey, everybody's roasting us because the Lakers have been using the bits and bobs that we didn't get in our trade to go get another awesome thing. Can you make sure he doesn't get past his physical Adam Silver? Yes, of course I can make that happen. It's like, okay, good job. All right, let's go to the Australian Player Watch right after we hear from Delhi.
This is Matthew Delvedova, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Australia's daily Australian Player Watch. That's right, the Aussies, what they get up to today in the NBA. I'll tell you what, with only 4 games, not much. Especially when it came to the Chicago Bulls, who copped a historic beatdown at the hands of the Detroit basketballing Pistons. And now, man, Josh Giddey, well, he was one of 2 Bulls to actually hit double figures. Hit 2 of them. It was ridiculous. It was an all-time shellacking. So that was pretty fun. If you're a Pistons fan, I guess. Anyway, Gids in that 132-92 loss. The mop-top Mamba himself managed 11-6-4 with a steal and a block. Hey, it's not too bad considering that everyone for the Bulls sucked. Like, he shot 5 of 10. That was amazing for the Bulls. Everybody was horrible. 1 of 4 from downtown, but hey, you can't win them all. On your Gids. And then the only other Aussie who was actually in action today, we don't have the Clippers playing. We don't have Rockets playing. I love the fact that we've now got 2 Clippers, sure. But Johnny Furphy, old mate Johnny Tins, he's out there crushing it. He had 3 minutes of game time in the Reggie Miller Bowl, which was the Knicks-Indy game. And the Knicks won pretty handily, 128-115. But it did mean Furfs got out there for 3 minutes at the end of the game, went 0 of 2 from the floor, but got 5 rebounds and an assist. Ends up at +5 in 3 minutes. Pretty good. Play him some more, Indy, I'm just saying. Of course, with Ben Shepherd back, with Aaron Naismith and Andrew Nemhard, Benny Mathurin. Pretty tough rotation to crack there in Indy, but still, good to see him actually out there causing a little bit of havoc. Outside of that, hopefully, with every single team playing on your Thursday, we should see more Aussies involved. But either way, that is NBA Australia's Daily Australian Player Watch.
It's the first annual
Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba.
Award for bum, 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 bum. Outstanding achievements in. That's right, the Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence for today. I mean, Kay Cunningham, quickly on him, third fastest to 4,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1.3 thousand assists. It's pretty good. Oscar Robertson did it 131 games, which is insane. Luca did it 169. Why would you trade him? Goal. And Kay did it in 187 games. Pretty good, considering all the injuries that he's dealt with and sort of played through. That's amazing. But Kevin Durant, 30,000 career points, very cool. 15-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA. He's won 4 Olympic golds. He's won 2 titles, 2 finals MVPs, 2 All-Star game MVPs, 4-time scoring champ, and he won the Rookie of the Year. Like, we've sort of talked this one out on NBA Australia before. He's a top 15 player. He and Curry are probably like in the top 15, and we probably don't realize it. Jokic will probably end up there as well if he can snag another title or two. But yeah, not bad there from Kevin Durant. We actually do have a great moment in NBA Australia stat history. I don't think we've got the drop for it here, though. Just wanted to say, we have an incredible, there's 2 of them. One is that a rookie, Chris Anstey, friend of the program, a.k.a. the original unicorn, a.k.a. Aussie Porzingis, he came off the bench for the Mavs, went up against Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers on this day as a rookie. And, you know, he's out there boasting a haircut you could set your watch to. He had an offensive game smoother than Anthony Calea's chest as well. In only 13 minutes, he went up against Derek Coleman for 5 points. He had Theo Ratliff going up against him for his 5 boards. He got an assist as well. And then, boom, he had 4 steals. Best highway robbery since Ned Kelly, I'll tell you that much. That's unreal. So 4 steals. That's more takeaways than the Coroyo Fish and Chip Shop, I reckon. So, not bad. I think that was a career high as well. So, a career high 4 steals to Big Chris Anstey in this game against the Sixers on this day as a rookie. That's pretty bloody good. Tell you what I say? That's 13 minutes. You'd have a 20, 20, and 20 in 36. Jesus. Anyway, anti-Australian bias, if you ask me. Anyway, the other one was Box Hill Ben Simmons. So, obviously, in the news, we just talked about the yeah, nah. On this day, in 2020, Ben Simmons took 22 shots. He has taken more than 20 shots once since then. 5 years ago. He had 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists for his back-to-back triple-doubles. They had won the day before and won on this day in 2020. The only time he's shot more than 20 times since was when he had the 42 points, which is a career high and the highest for an Aussie in the NBA in 2021. So it's just, a little reminder of like when Ben Simmons, before his fucking mind broke and his back got all fucked up, 26, 12, and 10, 12 or 22 from the floor, 2 or 3 at the free throw line, a steal. Not bloody bad. Not bloody bad at all. All right, let's do a Paddy Mills Game Day Ball, a Game Day Twitter check-in. See what Paddy's been up to over here. Let's go. Oh, Duop. Oh, there we go. Bit of a Duop Wreath update. Just him hanging on the rim. That's good. It's a good photo. Good stuff, Duop. I like that. Right. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, as I said, been better. Just fucking cooked. It's all a bit of a mess. You're working hard, and it's just a bit of a mess. San Antonio go to Boston tomorrow. Wemby versus the reigning champion Boston Celtics just before All-Star. The Celtics are 8.5-point favorites against De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. I feel like he might give him a bit of a problem there. And like the Celtics, they did have a bit of a good weekend. They hammered the Heat. They kicked the shit out of the Knicks. And I think they're probably too good. I think they're on a little bit of a run. They might just go whapang and take care of the Spurs as well to the tune of more than 9 points. So we'll go the Celtics -8.5, as long as everyone plays. I think they're a little bit too good, especially that depth. And like those last 2 games on the road, now they go home. They've got the All-Star break coming up. I think they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves. Charlotte, they go to Orlando. Now, Charlotte, the absolute bottom has fallen out of this team. The Magic, they got a little bit of a bounce back over the end of their road trip. They're 11.5-point favorites against Charlotte. I think they can probably actually do that with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Hello. I mean, what? They combined for 68 points the other day and still lost, but Charlotte are horrible. So we're going Orlando. Washington host Indy. Indy on a back-to-back. Washington, I mean, they stink. They is just it's pretty rough, right? They're 9.5-point underdogs, though. They just lost by 10 to the Spurs, 14 to the Hawks, 10 to the Cavs. Indy on a back-to-back, probably without Miles Turner. Can the Wiz keep that one close? I'm going to say yeah, maybe. Let's give him a little bit of credit. We'll see what happens. They're at home. They're 9-44. They stink. I reckon they lose by 8 or 9. Brooklyn host Philly, which is pretty funny. No Embiid, obviously, because it's a back-to-back. So we're going to go Brooklyn plus 2.5. They just keep playing spoiler every so often. It's like, hey, we've got the wood on this team. Check it out. We'll keep beating them. And you're like, why are you beating Houston, you idiots? Don't do that. Whereas Philly, they just look so bad today. You're like, dude, what the hell? Brooklyn plus 2.5 at home. Philly on a back-to-back. Let's go. Nyets. Atlanta, they go to New York to take on the Knickerbockers. The Knickerbockers coming back from Indy. The Hawks plus 8.5. Don't mind their size. Don't mind their playmaking on the edge with Trey, with Dyson. I reckon the Knicks beat them, but it's Trey Young and MSG. So we're going to go the Hawks plus 8.5. Cleveland go to Toronto. The Raptors obviously on a back-to-back, having beaten Philly today. Cavs are 13.5-point favorites. Toronto, look, they're feisty at home. The problem is the back-to-back, and like, if you're starting Octo Barge, if you don't have Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl back, I can't take it. I've got to go the Cavs minus 13.5. Detroit play Chicago again. Do you dare take Chicago after they got absolutely straight killed by 40 today? I don't know. I'm probably just going to stick with Detroit. They're just a better team. Chicago, they'll be better. They won't get killed by 40 again. It might be 60. No. They should be better. And I'm tempted to take Chicago plus 5.5. But I think Detroit is still way too good. Like, they're in the playoff hunt. Detroit are firmly in the playoff hunt. They're good. Milwaukee go to Minnesota. That's a fun one. The Wolves are 5.5-point favorites against the Bucks. Obviously, no Giannis, so we're probably going to go the Wolves. Yeah, 5.5. You never know with the Wolves, but we'll take that against just Dame and Kyle Kuzma. Yeah. Sacramento go the New Orleans Pelicans. They are the Pelicans, not the Pelicans. Or are they the Pelicans? I think they're the Pelicans. We're going to go the Kings minus 4.5. They've looked a little bit janky, but still feisty enough. Like, that big win over Dallas is pretty impressive. So let's go the Kings. Miami go to OKC, and I think they'll get their teeth kicked in. The Thunder are 13.5-point favorites in this game at home. I think they smashed the Heat. But there you go. That's a replay of the 2012 NBA Finals. Phoenix, Houston. The Charles Barkley Bowl. Remember when Chuck was on Houston? That was funny. Houston is 6.5-point favorites at home. I'm taking the Rockets. By that Suns game today, you're like, yeah, cool, 30K for Kevin Durant. But you lose again, and your team's not very good. So Houston defensively, you feel like they can match up against Booker and KD pretty nicely. Let's go the Rockets. Denver hosts Portland. Portland has like a injury list that's longer than like the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm going to assume they're long. Denver should smash this poor Portland team who have like no DeAndre Ayton. I think Jeremy Grant's already out. I think it's a lot of Donovan Clingan. And you're like, that's like, it's Donovan Clingan and Duop, and that's it. I think Scoot's already out. So it's a lot of Simons. I think Denver killed them. The Lakers go to Utah. How nice is that for Luka's first couple of games as a Laker? I think they're going to kill Utah again. They're 7.5-point favorites. Let's go the Lakers. Dallas hosts Golden State. Now, Dallas have been playing teams very, very tough. They no longer have any big men. That doesn't matter against Golden State. So I actually don't mind Dallas to keep that one close. Plus 4.5. Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie up against Golden State and Steph. You know, that'll be a pretty fun one. So let's go Dallas plus 4.5. And then finally, Memphis on a back-to-back against the Clippers. Clippers going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. You got your media photos of Bogdan and Marjon Beauchamp and Ben Simmons. And I think the Grizzlies will still be too good. Let's go the Grizz plus 3.5. I just think they're neat. I like the Grizzlies. All right. That's 15 games tomorrow. So tomorrow's show is going to be absolutely chaotic, and I have no idea what my vibe's going to be like for that one. So, yeah, that'll be fun. But that's it for today. Blow it out your ass. I will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Australia on Twitter, Facey IG. We're all over the socials. Get around NFL Australia. We will have our Super Bowl wrap-up at some point once we find Gaz. Check us a rating review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you use, whatever, on your Android phones, all that sort of stuff. Get around the AFL Today Show. We are back with that as of today, which is really, really fun. What else? Hold all tickets, all the other shit. It's all there. Big thanks from Oslo for the intro and outro song, as well as House Hatch, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sextra Green, and Dozers. Get behind all those bands on the way you do things. Spotify, Apple Music, on Facey. Follow them. Make sure you support them. Support Australian bands. NBA Australia supports Australian bands. All right, that'll do us for today. We will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Australia saying, look out for yourselves, would ya? And, little Hosanna!